Now, this first question comes from Jada Harrison, and she says, I really hope we get a good amount of seasons. I'm worried there won't be. Now, that was, of course, in reference to the full amount of seasons it'll take to tell the story for House of the Dragon. In my opinion, 5 seasons seems about perfect. Really, any more than that, and you're sort of stretching this story to its limits. Like, the best thing about it is that, yes, it's finished, but also, George has literally written out the entirety of the ending. All of the major events are highlighted, and we have 3 different versions of this story to sort of pick and choose and play around with the events. Meaning, like, the writers can still leave people like myself who have studied these books on their toes by twisting around the story, while all the while still remaining in canon. Please, if you enjoy these videos, slap a like on them. The like goal is going to be 420. Also, super special thank you to these individuals listed right here. They are all members of my Patreon family over on patreon.com/SirHuntsReviews. If you watch this video and you enjoy it, consider checking out the links and joining down below in the description. Now, this next question, or comment rather, is from MaximumHate666 is the username. And they mention, this looks cheap and trashy. Now, everyone is allowed to have their own opinion, so I'm not going to spend too much time talking about this comment, but this was in reference to the latest round of promotional images that we got last month for House of the Dragon Season 1. I obviously heavily disagree with that. I think this show looks expensive and amazing, but only time will tell, because honestly, if it comes out and it's bad, well then, everyone's allowed to voice their opinions about that. I just have a strong feeling it won't be, and at the very least it'll be enjoyable, because this is A Song of Ice and Fire, and this story has already been completed. Now, the next comment is from OG1 Kenobi, is the username, and they say, I wonder how many heads will roll off of his sword. And this was in reference to a post that I made about Prince Daemon, and like how he's the prince of the city. Basically meaning like when he's reforming the gold cloaks, like his brother King Viserys gives him multiple positions to try to keep him happy. Ultimately, when he lands with the gold cloaks, he reforms them, gives their iconic gold cloaks, gives them weapons, right? All matching uniforms. But during this time, he's known as the prince of the city because he's like always at brothels. He took delight in punishing pickpockets, thieves, and anybody who wouldn't follow the laws in King's Landing. He took personal delight in dealing with them himself. He would remove hands, he would slit noses, and it's actually kind of interesting that it says he slit noses specifically because later on in the story, right, when the war kicks off, he takes on the company of Nettles, who is said to be a thief, and her nose is said to be slit for that exact reason. So I wonder if it won't be sort of like an interesting twist that they add into the show, that maybe Nettles is potentially one of the people, the pickpockets rather, that he punishes in King's Landing. Then obviously later falls in love with her. Now she's said to be on Dragonstone, but it's not too far off to think that maybe she was in King's Landing, and then after this happens, she catches a boat across the narrow sea. But continuing on here. Now this next comment says, it's from a user named Tina Miller, and he or she or they says, I want her resurrected and have the ability to change between human form and dragon form. I want her to seek revenge against Snow, but in doing so, she ignites his ability to do the same. Drogon is still around. Wow, that comment took some crazy twists and turns. So Tina wants Daenerys to come back. We all do. We all want our queen resurrected, right? We want a Game of Thrones season 9, season 10, maybe even some movies to finish out the story and maybe bring back some of those storylines that were completely annexed from the original series. But dragon form and human form? What? Jon can do this too? What? I guess that kind of comes from the sentiment in the books that in Daenerys' POV chapter, she's realizing that the Targaryens can't just control dragons and hatch them. They are dragons. They are monsters. Their whole goal is to bring about fire and blood to their enemies and anyone who doesn't bend the knee to their rule. I just don't think Daenerys can physically turn into a dragon, but you all let me know if you agree with Tina's sentiment down below in the comment section. Thank you for watching, Tina. Now, this next comment is a fun one, and it's from Winterfell26, and they said, cannot wait for this show and your reviews of them. Keep doing you, Sir Hunt /Mark. Thank you, Winterfell26. I like that profile picture, and I cannot wait to review this show either. I'm also going to be covering Amazon's Lord of the Rings series, The Rings of Power. Both of them are going to be out right around the same time, and I cannot freaking wait. The fall is for fantasy. And while yes, House of the Dragon will for sure be the superior series, there's nothing wrong with a little fun competition. And who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Now this next comment comes from a longtime supporter of mine, one of my favorite people to interact with online, Reflective Rambling, and they said, "You are such a great content creator to do this for peeps. Thanks for making those commenters' days and for providing context and insight while doing so." Well, you made it into the next one, and thank you for being such an awesome person in general. Now, one of the last comments that I want to respond to in this video for time's sake is from Lewis, semicolon, or I don't know what punctuation that is, 3, right? Heart, right? 120 million each for 10 episodes? That's more than $1 billion. What the fuck? Exclamation point. I believe you misheard me, my friend. It's just under 20 million per episode for 10 episode first season. So that could literally mean 200 million is the budget for the first season of House of the Dragon season 1, or it could mean that $1 million is the budget. HBO was just kind of doing a humble brag and saying that they were able to keep it for the most part around a similar budget of the later seasons of Game of Thrones. This seems like a good point to wrap this video up. I want to thank you all so much for your time, and most importantly, thank you for watching this video. My name is Mark. Super special shout out to these individuals listed right here. And this has been Sir Hunt's Reviews along that.